Are you recording the shot drinking?
Oh, no.
Yes?
I like this. Is it called the Necronomicon?
Well, let me first welcome to our little cabin in the woods.
Yo, I love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Little cabin in the woods, if you will.
Okay, we're not in the woods and it's not a cabin, but it's
I'm gonna do my little intro here.
We're great. Oh, really?
I know.
Hey. All right. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Stage Door Theater Podcast, hosted by some boring old guys. And today we're going to be talking about something that is totally not boring, but is absolutely crazy. I didn't even know there was a musical for Evil Dead, and we're talking to Jaymes and Courtney.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
But I have something very, very cool that I need you to try first. It's specially made for this episode.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
excited.
All right, here comes the server. All right.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yes, got it.
So, do you know what it is?
And
Yeah, I'll take the last one unless Tom wants
say.
it. Tom, you want it? All right, I'll take the last one. This is a brain hemorrhage shot.
I was going to say, it looks like a
Ooh.
brain hemorrhage.
It definitely looks like a rain. And I love the, good morning, here's some alcohol.
Right.
Yeah. Look at how gross this looks, Tom. Can you see that from over there?
enough.
It literally looks like something that belongs like in a like in the opening of American Horror Story.
Yes.
Gross. It's gross. Get a picture. Can somebody get a picture? I'll get a picture. I'm lazy. I can't even take my own pictures. But I need a picture of this so we can see how gross it is. Because this. Here.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Oh. I mean, it's like gross in a good way.
Yeah.
That's why it's Evil Dead.
It's jellyfishing.
It is.
All right, ready? I need to
jellyfishing.
take a drink. Ready?
All
One,
right.
two,
Yes.
7. Drink it. Yeah.
7GX.
I'll make the sound effect splat.
Oh my God, tastes really good
That's
though.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay.
Tastes nothing like a brain, I don't
No.
think.
No.
That's delish.
Oh, that's
That's
good.
way too sweet, way too good, and you would get in serious trouble with this
Yeah.
probably.
I was like, I kind of want more.
Well, it could be a brain.
I have enough, so if you need another later on, let me know.
Okay, we'll do.
I'll step away and Tom can talk for a second if I have to get you another one.
It could taste like a brain. How do you know?
Well, that might be why the zombies want them so much. then.
Maybe.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about this then, because like I said earlier, I didn't know that the zombie Evil Dead movie musical was even a thing. When did this happen?
So, the phenomenon
Phenomenon.
of Evil Dead, obviously, we know the movies that I don't think were ever intended to be a cult movie. The first one was so, highly technically produced.
Right.
And
Was it
then
made
the-
by college students? Was that what it was? The first one?
So the movies, yes, and then the first one was honestly intended to be a crazy horror film,
Yeah.
and it really was. In its time in the 80s, it was. I think it was. It
On
scared me.
on a strict budget.
Yeah, I
think
thought
that's what it was. Yeah.
the second one though did not come out until later, like much later, and so it was right when horror film was at that that cusp of where the effects were better, but not quite to the point where they weren't comical. And so Evil Dead 2, and I hope Evil Dead fans don't get offended by this, but Evil Dead 2 was silly. It was more of a sillier, like campy.
It still creeped me out though. Like some of the stuff,
for sure.
to this day, I'm like, oh, it's a little creepy, but it's definitely the special effects.
yeah.
That was right when that stuff was coming out was like the heyday of how much blood can we put in
Right,
a movie,
Absolutely.
right?
Well, and Bruce Campbell's performance in the second one was more like that's the whole thing that we know and love about Bruce Campbell, like the cocked eyebrow and all that. That was the second one,
Bruce
know.
Campbell, I love him. Yeah.
And so
the mayor in Chew and Swallow in the animated movie, in case nobody's seen that.
yeah. So like the movies come out, everyone the movies get all of this rage and attention, and then a few years later after that, we get Army of Darkness, which is like the third part. In the musical, Army of Darkness is mentioned and touched on, but it's not there's not scenes from it because it would just take the show into another third act of insanity.
And for me, I saw Army of Darkness the movie first, and then I had to go see the other ones.
Yeah, most people and most people did. Most people would see. I saw Army of Darkness first.
Yeah.
and I loved it, and then I went back and watched Evil Dead, and I was like, what?
This is where it started.
How did we get here?
I just remember seeing the first Evil Dead way too young.
Of course.
Like,
Oh,
that's
right.
Don't
like
we all?
the product of like our generation. I think is like our families
How
definitely
scarred
just
we
showed
can be. Yes.
yeah.
stuff we shouldn't have way too early.
Yeah, sit down. It's just Jaws. No big
Yeah,
deal.
it's fine.
But the musical came about. There was a college student who was like wanted to do something, like shake it up a bit.
Yeah.
As how that's how it always starts, right? And was just like looking for something. It then started. They actually originally the musical. They wrote the show, and the music, and like this show has like I don't have the mental list ready, but there's literally like 5 writers of this
Well, what is there to write? The show's already written, kind of, right?
But the musical stage adaptation. So what they did is like they made it. They made it like knowing that like they could potentially get shut down. By,
Gotcha. So they did this without permission of anybody. Gotcha. There we go. Just say it, man.
Right. They made the show. They like pitched it, and people were like, "You have something here." And so on just like a whim, wrote to like Bruce Campbell and like the motion picture company that produced Evil Dead, which was like very, very also like low brow, and they liked it so much they were like, "Oh yeah, we don't care, go for it, do it." And the original production was done in Canada, and it was very.
So we can blame them.
Very, very, very like low budget, but that's what made the show so good. So, and we can get more on that later, but like the show was done in such a silly way that like now even you could have the most state of the art theater in the world, but if you're doing the show, you're basically like telling your stage managers like, take it all out, get rid of it. We want to do it we want to bring like.
Take all the equipment and lighting.
Yeah, like
like
it's cool if you have it. It makes the show great. But like, what also makes the show great? If you can literally see someone like off stage, like throwing a pail of blood, it makes it funny. It makes it like comical.
I'd be like, oh,
Can we bring our own blood to throw?
see, there you go.
Unlike another seasonal cult favorite, Rocky Horror, this one we don't encourage people to bring props because we are going to make enough of a mess
Yeah.
on our own. And at the audience as well.
At the audience as well?
The first few rows are, listen, don't dress.
It is a splash zone.
Yeah, just splatter.
Splatter
zone.
zone.
Splatter
Yeah.
zone.
Splatter zone.
Yeah.
I had to correct that because we're not doing Free Willy the musical. There's not a splash zone.
Gotcha. Splatter zone. Gotcha.
The first few rows of the theater are going to be don't wear your best
Don't worry.
to that.
I love it already.
It's stuff that can be washed out, but like we cannot promise that it might not somewhat.
Yeah.
Like,
So don't wear your good shoes. Don't wear anything that.
right.
Wear
If
something
you're gonna
with patterns
sit
on it.
in that splatter zone area, do not wear anything that cannot potentially be stained.
Yeah.
No solids. Don't wear solid clothes at all. They'll stand out. Get
Honestly,
with
most people
patterns on it.
most people come to the show and they whether they sit in the splatter zone or not, they're almost like by the end of the show, the people who are like, when it starts, they're in the back row and they're like hiding from it. But by the end of the show, they're like, get me.
Get climbing up. So they're the weirdos like that stand outside of the Snake River Falls where they get splashed.
Right.
Exactly.
So those guys. I don't want to get on the ride. I'm just going to get splashed by all the water anyway.
Kyle has to be told you have to wear something though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Kyle, you
yeah,
have to.
I mean-
you can't come completely naked.
There'll be-
This show sucks already. Then.
There'll be complimentary, ponchos and, or trash bags with like a head hole cut into it. For
Trash bag with a head hole cut into it. So that's exactly on par with the quality of the musical.
Yeah.
Is
Well, I
to
mean,
have
like
a trash bag, not
Yeah.
a real poncho, just a trash bag.
Right. I mean, the musical is actually like that's why it's so good. Is it? You will walk out of that theater singing the songs and
Really?
looking and being like, what? The last like roughly 2 hours that we just endured was ridiculous and hysterical, but like now why do I love these songs and want to sing them all the time? Some of them you cannot sing out loud. And while we're on that, this show does have explicit content. So
Tom told me that earlier.
Yeah.
He said it was not PG.
It does just in the Spotify music.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I was whoa, hey, ho.
Definitely my
Hide the
favorite
kids.
kind of music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely had it playing the one day and had to shut it off when my nephew walked in the room.
Oh.
So
How old's his nephew?
3.
Oh, so you're gonna shelter that generation, unlike how you were not sheltered.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Well, there's just certain songs you don't want him to go to like preschool singing like
Yeah, my son when he was in Les Mis, he was singing the song "Lovely Lady." Whoa, stop! You probably shouldn't be singing that in school. You know what that song's about? Let's not sing that song. So it sounds like this is of course, it's a musical, but it's a fun. It's almost like a immersive haunted house experience in a way too.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely immersive.
Okay.
The fourth wall is broken constantly in this show.
Cool.
Not so much is like we're Rocky Horror. It's like every 5 lines a character says the audience is yelling something to them, but there are those iconic moments in the musical that people love from the movie. Like "This is my boomstick."
Yes,
and all the
good.
people will yell. People in the audience will yell that out with the actor or stand up and applaud them.
Yes.
Like I said before, like props and stuff aren't getting thrown at us, but
Yeah, chainsaws
people-
could be a problem.
yeah. Please don't, no, it's not BYOC, please. But people do. There's lines that are said, like iconic lines that people will like kind of say with the actor or applaud. or
Right, so it's
scream,
lifted
cheer.
right from the movies, and that line is lifted. So if we were watching Back to the Future, and he was like, he says, "You're my destiny," and if he didn't say that in the musical, you'd be like, "Why didn't he say that?"
Yeah.
You take your damn hands off her, something like that from the
Yes.
movie. It's like, "This is my boomstick." They better say those
Oh,
things,
yeah.
and the crowd would be outraged, right?
I'll swallow your soul. Swallow this. Like that's that's all there.
Good.
The vernacular that you love from the films, you're not gonna miss.
Good.
At all.
Good. Dancing? Is this their dancing in this show?
Oh yeah, and there's
they're-
stage combat. Yeah.
Yeah. Dancing demons.
Yes.
Dancing. Who's the choreographer for this?
Me.
Oh.
Yeah, no, listen, if I choreographed it, it would be like nothing but jazz squares. So
Jazz square?
yeah, that's all I can do. Jazz
Grapevine.
squares. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I let him take care of that part.
The choreography element of this though is like it's not supposed to be so dumbed down that it's like ridiculous. Like there's songs where people are gonna be like, okay. All right, but like it's also very like tongue in cheek. Like you're laughing at it, but you're also like, oh, I kind of want to learn that dance move.
All right, yeah, like at points in time, you think you're in a thriller musical, like,
Yeah.
Actually, so like another show that we all love around this time of year that we bring up, Rocky Horror, to the Time Warp. Everyone loves that. There's a song in Evil Dead, "Do the Necronomicon," which is like this show's version of the Time Warp, where like what they're saying, like they're doing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
It's like
yeah.
they actually make fun of it at one point too.
I'll see even
Yeah.
better. Yeah, so it's like to the left, to the left, to the
Right.
right, to the right. So the whole crowd can go to the left and to the right. at the same
It's
time,
just
right?
like the Time Warp, only better. That's a quote.
Oh, is that what they
That's
say?
literally in the song. Yeah.
Okay,
How,
so
how many in the cast and
yeah.
and how many in what kind of music? Just piano or more?
Well, so it's not just piano, it's keys, and then there's guitar and drums. But it's like a 3-piece band. It's not meant to be. I mean, it's definitely written. You can take it to
full orchestra.
full
if you need
orchestra,
to.
but like it does sound better when it is simple. Because the songs are the style of it, I would say, is like, I don't know, like 80s, 90s horror. Like where there's like those little like rock jams, but then some like pop, and then there's some like ballads and some
And those
like,
weird little sounds that they put into horror movies, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's supposed to scare me. That's weird sounding.
The cast is generally a small cast. There's options or characters, just like there's like most musicals out there.
Generally, but what's yours? Small or big?
It's like, so what we did is there's 2 people that you can double up on, or you can cast individually, and it's based on your turnout. And we had a great turnout for it. So
Nice.
we have 8 people. And then
8 people in the cast?
there's 8 like
Oh, that's not big. That's small.
there's 8 like principal roles, and then we also have like a whole team of people who are doing like I don't want to give too much away, but there's other elements where they are a part of it, but they're also like helping make a lot of the magic behind the scenes happen
Okay.
with the crew. So
the crew's part of the show then too?
the set dances.
Yeah.
Well,
So
of
you
course it
need
does.
you need like just as much room as you need on stage. You need backstage to be able to
Interesting.
do all of the mechanical and magical work.
And is that
everything.
like like an homage or whatever to the fact that it was made the way it was, the show Evil Dead?
Yeah.
It's like we have to have these people throwing blood off to the side need to be able to be seen because that's part of the fun of the show too.
Like they can be seen, but sometimes there are some times where we do want it to be a complete surprise. Like we want the audience to be completely like, oh,
Right.
wow, that just happened.
the blood spray.
Right.
Yeah. And then, but there's puppetry.
Oh my god.
There's, like I said, there's parts of the set that dance.
This is a spectacle, man.
It is.
Yeah.
So it is like a haunted house kind of.
Yeah.
Who knows what's gonna move
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this, what we said from like day one is like,
or
so-
squirt, move or squirt. Someone's
Move
gonna
or
move or
squirt.
squirt any second. Here.
Right.
We
Right.
should put that on our shirt.
Right.
You can have it. Go ahead.
But no, we have if ever, as much as like, and I mean, this is something that really is important to me as a director is that your backstage people are just as much part of the show as what the audience
Oh,
gets
yeah,
to
of
see.
course, yeah.
But in this show, specifically, they really are because there is so much stuff happening backstage that you visibly and sometimes audibly get to hear as an audience member while the actors are still on stage as well. It's not just one of those like, oh, here's a scene change. It's like, oh, there's stuff happening while the song is happening.
People need to wear goggles at all in this thing.
I mean, you can, but
Bring my snorkel gear with me or something.
I don't know. I feel like it's part of the, if you're coming to see the show, like, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, you should
you know?
anyway. Even if you don't know what the show is at all, you've never heard of it before, you don't know what it is, it's called The Evil Dead.
Right.
Right. Right.
If you can read English, you should know something's not normal about
Right,
the
yeah.
show. The Evil Dead. That's probably a nice little happy musical about girls dancing in flowers, right? No, of course not. It's going to be
Not
crazy.
flowers, but trees.
yeah.
Oh, there's trees. Okay. Who are the stars in this show?
So our hero, if you will, who's playing Ash, the chainsaw toting,
He's the hero. The hero has
Yes.
a chainsaw.
demon slaying,
Oh, well, there you go. That's why you need chainsaw.
John Coleman, who was last seen as the lead in Normal Heart when we did that. So our Cheryl, who is the first person to get possessed and is the foul-mouthed, cellar-dwelling, like, just awful demon that for whatever reason is the one that is allowed to be let live. The worst one.
Oh, of course.
That doesn't, is actually someone very new to Stone Productions and in theater too. Dorian Smith does a great job. Is also the youngest person in our cast.
Yep.
How old?
But 17.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
But
not too
parents consent. So
Oh,
Yeah.
I would have totally signed a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
oh,
We're terrible parents. So, yeah, I mean,
but yeah, no, and then
we sat our kids down and made them watch all these shows. So
Oh.
we're like, watch this one. This is
Right.
horrible. Aliens when you're 10. It's great. And we would have done the same thing.
and we got Shannon Rui of who's done Columbia and 3B's Rocky Horror for the last couple years. Is
Gotcha.
Yep.
Linda, Ash's love interest, who loses her head a few times in the
Yeah.
So you're directing the show, James, right?
Yes.
And Courtney, you were doing what in the show?
I'm assistant directing.
Oh, assistant.
Yeah.
You're the ass director.
I am the
Gotcha.
ass director. Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure what was going on there. If you were in the show at all, or
No, it was one of those shows that I was like, I really want to be a part of, but I don't know that I necessarily fit any of the roles and stuff. And I knew
but
that
James
he needed.
doesn't cast like that though.
No, I know. But I definitely was just like, this looks like a show that I definitely want to like help out on the production
You
staff.
didn't want to get all icky. Just say.
Oh no, I'm excited. I want to hide in the set and like spray people with blood, like that. Like
So
that is my goal.
Why.
That's
yeah.
why you sicko.
Like I want to just like
Courtney
throw
wants
a
to be like-
bucket of blood at Shannon. Like,
Right.
I've
I
known
don't
her
want
for
the blood. I'm just going to splatter everybody.
I've known her
off.
for like 24 years, and I'm like, hey, let me just douse you with blood.
You want to throw a bucket of blood at Caitlin and Cameron. That's who
Well, that too. Everybody. Yeah, everybody I want
Everybody
to.
wants to throw
or
it at
just the
Caitlin?
audience.
Oh,
Like,
is
just
it?
wanna,
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
Courtney's like,
you
I'm
never
gonna
know.
get ya.
I might just come out and just like throw blood at people just because.
Where does,
You never know.
where does somebody get all this blood? I mean,
Oh,
it's
good
not a
question.
drive-through or anything. Right?
No, yeah, no. So, our amazing stage managers, Aaron and Brandy, they have curated a recipe too. So there's two different kinds of blood.
Two different
There's
kinds of blood.
the onstage blood, which is
Yeah.
a little bit more messy because the actors they already know what they got into doing the show. And then there's the blood that gets some of that does go into the audience though, but then the one that purposely goes in the audience is more. So you're gonna it's gonna get on you. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna experience it, but it's not gonna be like a syrupy, sticky kind of thing. So if anyone's concerned about that,
More
it's definitely-
water,
Yeah, it's
then.
more watered down. It's the effect of it more so than like what is getting on you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whereas like on stage, it's gonna be probably like a little bit more cloddy looking.
Yeah, that
Good.
like
John,
I'm excited for that.
oh,
I just
yeah.
like
John,
throwing it
who's
at people.
playing Ash, like he is gonna.
He's going to be wearing it.
He
He's
has,
going to
like-
be head to toe.
He basically has like 4 of the same costume because
you
there's
go.
different stages of mess that happen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So at some point in time, he's going to be soaked so much, you got to have another outfit and another outfit and another outfit.
Yeah, we have like we're gonna have a whole laundry system for the cast. Like who's washing the costumes tonight?
God.
Right.
And this is at Collingwood?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so make sure it's still in the same locations that in the bottom or
No, this is in the underground because
In
the
the
underground's it's all concrete, so it's easy just to
There
hose
you
down.
go.
when we're
Yeah.
done with it.
gosh, even more awesomeness. I want a video of you hosing that down.
Just hosing all the blood.
Yes, I want all that stuff. So you can't. How do you prepare for the blood splatter stuff? Like, do you rehearse blood splatter?
Yeah, we're still like early in like the tech elements of the show are
Okay.
still like things are being made, but so there's
We're gonna want to get that video. When you guys start squirting
Oh.
blood everywhere, please
for
send
sure.
it our way.
Right.
So
Because you were nice enough to send us some video, but everybody's clean
I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
because it's early. But
well,
I
we're-
want blood.
We're
still.
rehearsing currently. We're rehearsing upstairs, and I know that like Pat Tansey, if I spray blood all over the Nelson Theater, he'll end me.
Yes.
So, there's like you can some of the effects are as easy as literally like it in like a big huge like tumbler cup that just gets tossed a pail. Some things are in like cannons, like squirt gun style cannons.
Nice.
Some of the actors will have packs. So when certain, again, don't give too much away, but when certain effects happen, they cause the explosion themselves. So it's
Very cool.
I'm thinking the most important tool of this whole show is the squeegee.
oh right yeah the most important tool of the show is the people who decided to put this on. They're the most important tool.
Right.
So when this is all done and the tech crew does all this, they gotta clean up their own mess then too.
I mean, like we'll help.
Okay, everybody's helping.
He'll help.
When
Yeah,
is this
he'll
show?
help. No.
Not me. I'm walking out. Courtney. Bye-bye.
It is November 4th through the 6th.
Okay, right after Thanksgiving.
Right
Or
after Halloween.
yeah.
We wanted to there's a lot, so now that like the city is back to like all of their Halloween events and kind of like not as many restrictions, we didn't want to compete with Halloween events, and there's also lots of great musicals going on right around that time, so we're like, let's do this a little after, as we usually do. November 4th through the 6th. The cool thing is because we decided the Sunday matinee, if you will, isn't going to be like a 2 p.m., 3 p.m. because who's going to like, get out of church and then go see a musical about demons?
Right.
So our matinee is still early enough that you can go to bed and like get up for work Monday, but it's going to be at 6 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like a 2 p.m. But
So
You need time
it'll
to
be
clean
dark
up
when
the
you
yeah,
mess.
Right.
that too. 8 o'clock, and 6. And then the tickets are brownpapertickets.com, 15 in advance, 20 day of. But the splatter zone, it's 25 regardless of when you buy it. And we highly encourage, if you want the splatter zone, to do that ASAP because it's a small amount of tickets per show that will sell out.
Cool.
How many rows is the splatter zone?
To be determined.
Yeah. I would say probably about like 2 to 3 at the absolute most. Like
2 to 3, and it's a kind of like a there's 3 sections, so there'd be 2 to 3 rows in each section of seating, and then.
But you're still working out the kinks of the text, so who knows how far it can
Right,
spread,
and
right?
well, that's the thing too. Is like we even said, we were like, if anything, if there's an area that gets hit a little harder, that splatter zone is just basically like. So you're not in the splatter zone we see. Would you like a complimentary poncho, aka trash bag?
You want whole cut trash bag. That's what you want.
Right.
Trust me, you want it. Well, that's cool. I think it's kind of neat though to the Halloween. It's after Halloween because I do feel like Halloween ends and it's like, well, we're all just supposed to stop now. Huh?
Well, and also like the smartest thing in the world, like budget wise, is do a Halloween themed musical after Halloween. Everything's on sale.
Oh,
right.
When I get my candy.
I get my candy year round.
Truthfully, we'll have all of
Right.
our stuff way before that. But if there's any last minute things, Saturday performance, we run out of blood, we can just hit them up.
So you might actually be sitting in blood on the Sunday.
Right.
That was there from Saturday.
Yeah. This is the splatter zone, and then you
Welcome.
Sit in it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you were able to come in and sit down and talk to us. Any other cool things you want to tell us before we go?
The Collingwood also is doing a showing of since it's still unable to be performed live right now in Ohio, but the Collingwood's doing a double feature. They're showing Shock Treatment and the Rocky Horror Picture Show film
As a movie.
the movie. The weekend before Evil Dead, I think it's October 29th, that Saturday.
Cool.
They're doing the midnight show of it, so definitely check that out. And there will be. Of course, we're going to be there selling tickets for Evil Dead the following weekend. Why not? Yeah. But yeah, that'll be a really cool. But yeah, come see Evil Dead. If you do not like musicals, this is the musical to go see. And if you love musicals, you'll still like it. You'll still have a good time. But it's definitely it's the show to bring like the boyfriend or the person like your friend that's like, I do not like musical. They will
All
love
of these things too, like a show like this is if this is something you're into and you love doing these things, this is a tester. Take somebody you care about maybe to this thing. Yeah, right. If
him in
you
the
care
Splash
about
Zone.
this stuff and you bring your lame boyfriend with you and he's like, this is dumb, ditch him. He's
Yeah.
gone. He's not a good fit for you anyway.
Right.
This is one of those temperature gauge shows.
Right.
Oh yeah, I told my sister like to ditch her husband if he doesn't like it because this is like the perfect show for him. Like
or like if it is someone you want to bring them, bring them to the splatter, put them right in the splatter zone. And be like,
Yeah,
all these things. Though, I always look for stuff like that. Like this is one of those temperature gauges that will determine whether this is a perfect fit person for you. So it's a great date show.
bring your friend or family member that gives you like a hard time all the time. Tell them to wear their nicest outfit and put them right in the front row.
Cool.
Just kidding. Not really.
yeah, I was gonna say, not really.